We are rocking and rolling on this gorgeous start to August 2026, whenever you may be listening to this episode, both now and in the future. Delighted to be joined today by Rob from the Rob Dog Sport Brief. You can catch his podcast as well on Spotify and YouTube. Rob, repping the women's polo. First
Yeah,
off, welcome
almost
in, my friend.
work day.
Welcome in, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good. Like I said, some of us have to work today, and also breaking news: we have a trade.
Oh, we have a breaking news. We need a breaking news. Quick little sound effect here. I don't know how breaking it is, but
This is less than 10 minutes old.
go
The
ahead, Rob.
Pittsburgh,
What's the breaking news for us?
the Pittsburgh Pirates are acquiring right-handed reliever Camilo Duvall from the New York Yankees in exchange for two prospects. Sources are telling ESPN. This is from Jeff Passan.
Oh, Jeff Passan, yes.
Yep.
Immediate thoughts and reaction as for someone who is a absolute die-hard baseball fan, Major League and all.
Remember when Yankee fans thought they struck gold with him last year? And now they're trading him away. Need we say much more?
I don't think so. Not really.
Also, who would have
Not
thought the Pirates would be buying at the deadline?
Yeah. Uh, Speaking of, so Tarek Skubal has been the talk of the town everywhere you look, whether it's on Westwood One Sports Network, whether it's on The Huddle, shout out local sports talk radio, on Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin. You can listen on the 9:20 a.m. dial if you're in the Milwaukee area. If there's anybody on Spotify or YouTube who listens from there, you never know. But they were talking about that too. And I want to play a little bit for the audience here of my reaction. My good friend, Mr. Positive, Greg from Michigan, Gregory Balteff from Michigan's reaction too. And Rob, I want to also get your reaction too. So we'll get three different opinions all in the fold to this whole Skubal to the Brewers that has been very tossed around. The other contender there, notably, is the LA Dodgers, which is a whole nother thing we can get into after we hear some of these reactions. So first up is going to be my reaction here. And here we go.
This past winter, how realistic do you think this is? I'm obviously seeing this everywhere, across my feeds and everything. Like, do you really see this happening, or is this kind of to throw one out there? Is this kind of almost like Asham Sharanya when he absolutely talked the living crap out of Giannis before it actually became a thing? Maybe that's not the best comparison, but hopefully you get the train in the tracks I'm kind of on.
No, I do. I think as far as likelihood, I think it's likely that Skubal ends up in a Brewers uniform. Probably not. However, do I think it's more likely than other years that they go after that type of guy? It seems like it, just because of the smoke to the fire that there is, and so many people talking about it, so many major insiders talking about it. And then, of course, the report from Adam McCalvey of MLB.com and his conversation with Matt Arnold that they're going to be a little more aggressive this year. Combining all of that, considering they went to the NLCS, considering they're coming off 97 wins, and they're already thinking about trying to give more rest. They did it again yesterday, give more rest to that starting rotation. To think about October, if they're thinking about October, Skubal is going to give you a better chance in October to beat the Dodgers. Not that you're going to throw anything out over the next 2 months. The Cubs are hot. The Cubs are a really good team. You got to win the division first. But they're clearly also trying to position themselves to be successful and more successful than last year in October. And if that's the case, Skubal is going to help that. So I think it's more likely than other years, but do I still think at the end of the day, if I were to guess if he's on the Brewers or not, I would still guess no. Yes.
So that was my call into the huddle on Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin. Now let's hear it from the source himself. That's Mr. Positive coming out of Michigan, who is also a big Detroit sports fan. So that whether it's Detroit Lions or Tigers, he's feeling this one. Take a listen.
877-794-1973. We've got Greg on line one of the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. Greg, welcome to the program. Morning, Greg.
Good morning, you guys. Mr. Positive, boom, shot. Take it through your dreams.
Yeah. Would you prefer though to have him closer to home and closer to Detroit than sending him out to the big bad blue Dodgers? Like, wouldn't you
Fair point.
a little bit more when your NFC North brethren was the ones that were capitalizing those last 2 months before he makes that $400 million payday?
Yeah, that's he can go to Milwaukee and
We'll pause it right there. That is key what he said there at the end. That is not right for the Dodgers to have Skubal. And that transitions nicely into the whole salary cap discussion. Rob, I'm slowly but surely, but making my way even more firmly to the MLB, the Major League Baseball. It needs a salary cap. You're going to see Skubal go to the Dodgers here, no question, I believe. How much more evidence do we need that we need a salary cap when you're seeing players of this caliber and level go to these type of markets, to these types of teams? Rob, it's in your floor.
I would say it shouldn't even be an argument at this point. Last year should have been like that should have been like solidifying, like when the Brewers were last year in the NLCS, which God, I hate referencing that NLCS, but it brought to the front of the sports world attention that you have the Dodgers over here with $2.15 billion in deferred money versus little old Milwaukee, who, if you took away two guys' contracts, don't even clear $100 million in a payroll in the NLCS, and we saw how they got steamrolled because how are you supposed to compete with not just that roster and the lineup, but their starting five? They were able to sit on Blake Snell and some of these other guys until the last week of August so they can stay eligible for the postseason and literally just sit on it. If you had Skubal this year, it's just the rich getting richer. Baseball fans were the real losers, and honestly, at this point, if you're an LA Dodger fan, is there anything to be proud of at this point? Like, is it not just embarrassing anymore because you didn't win those World Series with homegrown talent. You turned 29 other teams into your farm system. Well, okay, we might be able to subtract them. Well, this year the Mets are everyone's farm system, but outside of like New York, Boston, Philly, every single, like the entirety of the NL Central minus the Cubs, the entirety of the AL Central, the AL West, the NL East minus a few, like minus 3-4 teams, like 85% of the league is the Dodgers minor league system on top of their minor league system and Japan.
Exactly. And
something has to be done here. And it's not, as a baseball fan, just Wake me up when the Dodgers get their three-peat, and Rob Manfred's so proud of them, and we have David Roberts going up there, let's ruin baseball again, like he said last year, and then watch them all scratch their heads when there isn't a season next year and wonder why the fans aren't happy.
Folks, that right there is proof of a real diehard sports fan. Better yet, Major League Baseball fan. Baseball fan in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, this lockout is going to be very real. It absolutely, I could see be lasting a year, no question. I don't. It's going to be some time, and I honestly believe there's players on both sides of the aisle for both salary cap and not. Do you see that too, or do you think collectively players are kind of unifying under that salary cap?
The players, they will never admit it. They will never say they want one because you got guys like Brent Rooker in spring training who was literally just reading the mouthpiece cue cards from the MLBPA guy that you couldn't see on the side when foul territory asked him about it, and he basically said, "We'd rather not have a season than have a salary cap coming in the owners." And basically they you got a bunch of millionaires who play a sport for a living that kids play, thinking that they're going to be oppressed by the owners with a salary cap.
Mic drop right there. I mean, need we say any more? I think not. Go ahead.
The only ones who are being oppressed with this current system, I guess you could say, in the eyes of the MLBPA, would be the guys like Jordan Walker, where the whole one swing of the bat got him more money than his entire year's salary. Like, I'm not saying like on a rookie contract you should be making a lot of money. We'll put the NFL in its own category because football is a very like all it takes is one. Well, I guess any sport, one play and you're done. But that's like the one sport where like all it takes is one little thing and you're done forever. But we also shouldn't be making it where guys who have been in like, if you're a career minor leaguer who pops his head in up to the show for a cup of tea every so often, then maybe I can understand being paid a lot lower. But like when Jordan Walker's been in the league for like 3-4 years now, there's no reason he's not making at least $1 million a year like he would be in the NFL at this point.
There's no doubt. But all power to him. I mean, this young guy like really showed out at the home run derby. Like, and not only that, but to echo off your point, nobody was even knew who this guy was. And now you look post home run derby, post All-Star game and break, and now the guy is making a name of himself. And he is a Cardinal, I believe, St. Louis Cardinal, Chicago White Sox.
He's been a Cardinals whole career.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, but still, it speaks to the fact of a guy who put in the work in the farm system, worked his tail off, and now let it show in front of hundreds of millions of people, not only watching online, but in Great American Ballpark too, home of the Philadelphia Phillies. So,
my Twitter post go on this situation? I know I posted something from the heart of a baseball fan on my Twitter here. I just gotta find where it is, buried in all the scores and stuff.
Of course.
Every so often, I break character and go from being a sports person on Twitter to an athlete and fan.
Mm-hmm. No question.
It's not very common, but I do it occasionally.
For sure. For sure. So while you do that here quick, Rob, Why don't you,
Oh,
if you,
found it. On July 29th, this is what I posted word for word, coming from the heart of a diehard baseball fan, where if it's baseball, I'm watching it.
for sure.
If
Quote,
Skubal ends up an LA Dodger, I'll be over here waiting for the lockout to load up and hope Milwaukee wins the World Series before we lose the 27 season.
wow, that's biting words, but all very true though.
I don't see how
There's
we
no
have a
question.
season next year, or if we do, it's gonna be as ugly as COVID was, where it would be like a 60-game season, and if some of these guys miss records, be like, we should have played a full year.
Exactly.
And depending on how things go with this lockout, Miller Park, or I guess American Family Field, can fit like 35,000 people there. You know how many empty seats you're going to see when they come back from this lockout, especially if it drags on? If they don't figure something out before Christmas time, so they can show up in February and keep going.
You don't have the actual amount, do you? But
I'd say it's going to be at least 33% of that stadium full at most. You'll see 2/3 of that stadium empty, just like all the other ones across the league, because the fans will be angry.
Exactly. It's a domino effect. It's a true domino effect. Wow. I think we've hit that MLB very hard on the head. If we move to another association, this time basketball, the big talk of the town in the National Basketball Association is obviously LeBron James to Philadelphia, the home of the 76ers. LeBron is getting up there in age. He is now 40, if I want to say, if I'm not mistaken. Rob Hunter could definitely check on the old Google machine for me and cross-check that. But if I'm not mistaken, he's reaching Tom Brady age, no question. So it begs the question, is Father Time catching up to LBJ here? We've kind of already seen regressively him just continue to sort of slightly decline. His peak was already hit, right? When you had Bosch, Wade, LBJ, the Heat, Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra as well too. Granted, he did win he did win a title as well with the Cavaliers as well. Following that, went to LA, obviously, and now going to Philadelphia. My question, I guess, here for you, Rob, is with LeBron now going to the Sixers, to a team that has players, obviously, like, oh gosh, the very injury-prone Joel Embiid, what impact at his Father Time age, if any, will he have? Will he still be seen as like the guy on the team? And yeah, how exactly do we dissect and analyze this now that it's finalized?
Well, first I'll give you my opinion on that, and then I'll answer your question. And then the second part, I'll be answering your question with another question.
For sure.
You know, the psychology game of sports.
Of course.
It'll be interesting in those like 15, 20 games of when they're all together and not hurt, because everyone gets hurt in an 82-game season that starts in October and doesn't end until May. But seriously, Adam Silver, fix that problem. You don't need to have that long season for 82 games.
Yeah.
But it should be interesting. It'll draw in some ratings. And really weird to see how it's going to work with him helicoptering in from New York every day. But now I'll ask you this, because we saw the roster he went to. Name me a single time in LeBron's career when he got to choose where he went, not when he was drafted as a rookie, when he chose to go somewhere that didn't have at least one or two superstars, and name me a time he didn't go somewhere with a super team. Give me one example after he was drafted when he got to choose for the first time in that free agency when he did the whole South Beach thing on ESPN for 3 hours. Tell me one time he hasn't gone somewhere that's got at least one or two other superstars on that roster.
You can't, because Miami, like I just mentioned, LA, like, I mean, the talent that they had, like, obviously, poor Anthony Davis, couldn't stay on the floor too at times. And then now to the 76ers, it does bring up an interesting kind of conversation that hovers around this kind of idea. And I want to even put this up there for you as well, and the folks listening. So you can see who has more to lose this season. Upcoming, that is. Joel Embiid or LeBron James. What did they say? Let's see.
We know what the floor is. In a lot of books, it's the second greatest player to have ever laced him up. It's all upside for LeBron James in Philadelphia. Now, there is some risk associated with it because he decided to pass up on other places. But to me, this is about Joel Embiid, because with LeBron, winning has followed him everywhere he's gone in his NBA career. He's gone to the finals in both stints with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He went to the finals with the Miami Heat. He went to the finals with the Los Angeles Lakers. And he won a championship with all of those franchises. If it doesn't happen in Philadelphia, then all of a sudden we'll look at the process and Joel Embiid as the face of that proposition and establish that Joel Embiid's legacy will forever be losing in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and that's why I say it's LeBron. LeBron has more to lose, because if you...
So again, the $1 million question is, what do you say, Rob? Do you think the now injury sustained and prone Joel Embiid has more to lose this season, or do you now think it is the newly acquired LBJ, LeBron James?
I don't think either of them have anything to lose. LeBron's at this point, he's made his money and all that. He's just playing money ball, I guess we could say.
Yeah.
Not the Oakland A's version. But at this point, he's just playing basketball because he knows until he decides to say he's done, there's always going to be at least one team that's dumb enough to hand him money. And Embiid, he's the 76ers version of what Christian Yelich is for us. Where he's hurt and he's not when he plays, he's good. He's not superstar anymore. But he's their fan base's homegrown guy that's been there, and they've tried building around him for all those years, to where I don't think either one has anything to lose. And this also shows you how big of a clown show the four-letter network is for even debating this.
Oh, no question. I mean, how ridiculous of a... I will give ESPN some love for some of the stuff, it does, showcasing, NCAA baseball, like during that huge stretch, right? But as far as some of its talk shows go, and specifically with this on one of the morning shows, well, I mean, like, what are we doing? That's all we're left wondering. Like, the biggest question for me, can you keep both of them healthy, right? Like, obviously, how old did you find out LeBron was, by the way?
The big 4-1.
41, actually, in fact. So, yeah, he's definitely that Tom Brady age. Like, can you keep him healthy? Can you keep Joel Embiid healthy? And also, well, let me just see here quick. I don't really know if there's any other big names on your team. Jaylen Brown, KCP, Contavious Caldwell Pope.
Let's say their starting five is going to be LeBron, Maxey,
Yep.
Brown, and Embiid.
Yeah. Like a lot of these other guys, I'm like,
Uh,
I've never heard of.
if they stay healthy with those five, you don't need a. You can get away with the role players like Gary Trent Jr. off your bench or Landry Shamet off your bench type players.
Very true. Very true.
Also, I'm glad that the Knicks were able to find Landry Shamet.
Shout out to your Knicks, obviously, of course.
Defending champs for a reason, buddy.
Come on, it's gonna be a long road ahead for the Milwaukee Bucks, and my jersey.
Honestly, I think they. I don't think they're gonna be. The Bucks, I don't see them being bad, but I don't see them being world beaters either. It's like with that trade, you took the younger talent, and they'll be okay with being like in the play-in conversation if they're lucky, knowing that it's like they're trying to get younger to try and extend to try and open up another window down the road here, knowing that these next couple of years, one, if you I don't know why we don't say the play-in tournament counts as the playoffs because it literally is. But for those of us who say it's the playoffs, it literally is. It's its own thing. So, and even March Madness considers the play-in, those first four as the play-ins as part of their playoff tournament. So, I would say when all but like 10 teams in the NBA make the playoffs, the Bucks, it's like they could have chose to be either picking in the lottery and one of the 10 worst one of the 10 worst teams for a couple of years, or we'll be happy if we get like 5 through 7 seed, even if it's in the play-in tournament conversation, knowing that that'll help these younger players when we're rebuilding for a bit.
Oh, no question. No question. And speaking of rebuild, as I alluded to, a long rebuild is ahead for the Milwaukee Bucks.
I don't think your rebuild's going to be as bad as it's been in the past.
Fair point. Fair point. As we move right along here, it is the beginning of August, which does mean NFL training camp. The buzz is very much a brewing. Let's take a look here at some of the biggest news coming from each camp. Not that one. Specifically, of course, from our Green Bay Packers. Matthew Golden is making a name of itself from camp. 2 standout plays, according here to Rob Demovsky. Cannot rule out Brandon Cisse as well, too. It's mentioned, I believe it was early on during the very start of camp that I saw somewhere that it was noted of Brandon Cisse. And speaking of competition, we have a kicking competition, folks. And one that I'm sure my good friend Mason Crosby, the former Packers kicker, who now hosts his own show on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network from 10 to 2 Central, is very much paying attention to. We have, enter, I quote, Lenny Krieg of Germany, Lucas Haversek, goodbye, the franchise record holder for the longest field goal for the Packers. We'll see if rookie Trace Mack wins the job, because we put a 6th-round pick in him, but he's definitely going to have to earn it. I agree with the sentiment from Demovsky, not just against the competition that he thought. And Krieg was on the Falcons practice squad last year. He's never kicked an American football game until he joined the Falcons last summer. So that's going to be interesting. Obviously, a whole lot of like injury stuff too, and the shuffling of the offensive line. That is probably me one of the biggest stories of the Packers training camp so far. Now, I don't know how much more you have been following of training camp, Rob, but anything else that you want to add from the Bears side, that is, that maybe you've seen?
Honestly, there isn't a whole lot because I haven't been paying a whole lot of attention because like football's not on my radar right now, especially if I'm getting ready for a playoff run with my team.
Shout out the 35ers, man. You can give a slight plug if you want. I mean,
So to say we
humble brag, right?
yeah. Well, we made the playoffs. We drew one of the 2-3 team pools in the regionals up in River Falls. You should be able to watch it on YouTube. I'm sure Thomas will gladly help distribute the link for anyone listening who will want to watch that.
Absolutely. Yep. You could probably, not probably, you will find that on my YouTube channel under the poll section. As soon as Rob sends me a YouTube link, I'll make sure I put that out there for
So say
the YouTube audience.
We drew, I think it was Asio and
You posted it, I know, on your Facebook page, if I'm not mistaken.
Seal.
Or maybe your personal, I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure I did. I have it. I'm pulling up a cheat code. It's called Wisco Baseball on Facebook. They're a great follow for everything baseball in the West throughout the state.
Both high school, Legion, depending on the season.
Oh, yeah, we are in the same pool as Asio and Hudson. Where if we our first game is at 12 o'clock high noon on August 8th. So I gotta be out the door by like 8 a.m. to get there on time. Yay. But if we lose, we turn around and play again at 6 o'clock that same day versus Hudson, who I'm pretty sure they only lost one game all year, and that was to River Falls, the defending 2-time champs. And if we win, we won't play Hudson until 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday, August 9th. So it'll be interesting. Either way, if we're playing now, I'm going to be getting a campsite and camping at the campground right across the street from the ballpark. So I'm not driving those roads in the dark.
Respect for that strategy. All right, Rob, we're running a little short on time, but before I let you go, and I want to say thank you again for your time and for your great insights, insightfulness, and analysis and dissection of some of these big topics in sports on this edition of Sports Talk with Thomas. It's time for a little buy or sell. Buy or sell time. So the first buy or sell that I have for you is this, Rob. Buy or sell. If we look specifically in Major League Baseball, Aaron Judge. I know. Another MVP season coming, or not this time? Not just yet. That's deep. I know.
I'm going to say, like, is it like buying that like he's getting another one, or selling that he's not getting it?
Correct. Yep. You got it.
I'd say as of now, sell, because he's been hurt. Like, yes, he helps the Yankees a lot, but
yeah,
if he gets it again, it's literally just that one, that'd be a third year in a row. Two, it'd be another one he didn't deserve. And three, what has he done this year besides, ooh, that short porch home run looks cool. So I will jettison that one out and sell it.
For sure. How about a little NFL? How about a little... I want to do Bears. Oh, wow, we are really up against it. Knocking at the door here. We'll do this one. Two quick ones in the NFL. One, rookie QB starts week 1 and takes home the Offensive Rookie of the Year award during the NFL honors. Buying or selling?
With this year's rookie class, I'm going to have to sell. I don't see any of them starting right out of the gates.
With the quarterback. Not even Fernando Mendoza.
I do not see him starting right away. Tom Brady's going to do everything he can to try and develop a quarterback correctly out in Vegas.
Fair point. And finally, for your Bears, let's do this. Caleb Williams will lead your team to the playoffs. Buy that, or are you selling that dream and aspiration?
After everything I saw last year, and if Ben Johnson can help lower the turnover rates a little bit more, I'm going to say buy, because I can see them winning like 9, maybe 10 games with this schedule and making it, and at the very least, being a wild card. But the NFC North is going to be a brutal stretch.
Yeah.
And I'd also say right now, looking at strength of schedules, it's the Lions' division to lose. But yeah, I'd say buy. They're a playoff caliber team again this year for the first time in a long time.
No question. Well, Rob, we're up against it. I want to say thank you so much for joining on this brand new edition of Sports Talk with Thomas. Thank you all for watching and listening. We'll catch you in the next one. I'm Thomas. That's Rob Hunter. Follow him at the Rob Dog Sports Brief on Spotify and YouTube. We'll see you in the next one.